Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
A beautiful evening in the Arizona desert. We're at Salt River Field, the Talking Stick, where the Arizona Diamondbacks have won 11 of their 15 Cactus League games, including 7 straight. And tonight, host the Cincinnati Reds under the lights. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona, presented by Ram Trucks. And welcome to Scottsdale. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brenly along the way. It's the D-backs and the Cincinnati Reds. The Diamondbacks currently leading all of Major League Baseball this spring in hits and runs. And Bob, rookie Socrates Brito, has been a big part of that so far this spring. He's in the lineup tonight playing left field.
Yeah, we've heard Chip Hale and the coaching staff talk about Socrates Brito throughout this spring and last spring for that matter, saying that this guy does something every day to help the team win a game. Great speed in the outfield, great speed on the bases. He's swinging the bat well, plays solid defense in the outfield. There's not much not to like about this guy.
Patrick Corbin on the mound tonight. First pitch coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. Brito in left, Jason Bourgeois in center. But when can we expect A.J. Pollock back in the lineup? That's coming up. You're watching Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. Is presented in part by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you get more standard features for less money.
And welcome back. First night game of spring training here at Salt River Fields. A perfect night for baseball. The Diamondbacks hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Jody Jackson with you here on the field. And as the guys, Steve and Bob, described, the Diamondbacks have been tearing it up during Cactus League play. And they've been doing it, though, without last year's All-Star A.J. Pollock. A.J. last year hitting .315, 20 home runs, 76 RBIs, and 39 stolen bases. And yet he's only had 8 at-bats. It's all due to a sore elbow. And you can see A.J. out here signing some autographs, and he'll be in the dugout. We'll hear from him during tonight's broadcast. He says he's getting better day by day. He is not worried about his availability for the season. Just wants to get back in the lineup. He attributes the soreness to just ramping up his activity a little bit too soon. As Chip Hale pointed out, he works, like a lot of these guys, extremely hard, a lot of throwing, a lot of hitting off a tee, and he's been doing those things right now. He's just not quite ready to return to game action, but he should be, hopefully, in a few days. More action coming your way here on Fox Sports Arizona. Thanks for joining us for Cactus League Baseball. The Diamondbacks and the Reds coming up in moments.
Arizona is presented in part by Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. By Tire Pros. For the best selection of Continental and General brand tires, visit one of our 22 locally owned locations. By Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. By Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. And by Valley Toyota. Visit your local Valley Toyota dealer or shop online. Toyota, let's go places. Oh, what a night here in the Valley of the Sun. We are under the lights at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, the Taj Mahal of Major League Baseball spring training facilities. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Jody Jackson. BB, this is just about perfect. A gorgeous night to take on Brian Price and his Cincinnati Reds.
Absolutely beautiful night here at Salt River Fields. Brian Price, in his third season as the Reds manager, hasn't gone quite the way he hoped, and it appears that there's more in the forecast for Brian Price this year.
Well, it's a bit of a patchwork lineup. They didn't bring in some of their big left-hand hitters against Patrick Corbin, so the order for the Reds here tonight.
Jose Peraza leading it off at shortstop. Eugenio Suarez at third base. Brandon Phillips, a recognizable name, at second base. Adam Duvall out in left field. Jordan Pacheco, the former Diamondback, at first base. Yorman Rodriguez, strongest arm in the Reds organization. He'll be out in right field. Tyler Holt in center field. Tucker Barnhart doing the catching. Right-hander Tim Adelman.
And on the mound for the Diamondbacks, it's Patrick Corbin, 6-5 last season in 16 starts, a 3.60 ERA. As he completed his comeback from Tommy John surgery that wiped out his entire 2014 season. But this year, no restrictions. He is good to go. He will start third in the rotation behind Zach Greinke and Shelby Miller.
I like the way you referred to it last time, Patrick. But the training wheels are off. He's just a pitcher in the big leagues right now. They expect 60 to 65 pitches from Patrick in his outing tonight. Hopefully, if he's efficient, he'll get into the fifth inning.
Well, let's check out the Diamondbacks behind their left-hander. Our Eye on Defense brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
As usual, Paul Goldschmidt over at first base. He'll be flanked by Chris Owings at second, Gene Segura at short, Jake Lamb across the diamond at third base. Socrates Brito, we touched on his spring in the open of the show, having an outstanding Cactus League. Jason Bourgeois in center, David Peralta out in right field, with Wellington Castillo doing the catching for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
It's our first game this spring under the lights here at Salt River Field, so our Valley Honda keys to the game.
Well, it's a starry night here at Salt River. You got to get used to playing these night games. That's one thing we've talked about in spring training before. You get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you play your games at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At some point, you got to turn that body clock around, and for Patrick Corbin, the starters might as well stay perfect. Starting pitchers for the D-backs a perfect 5-0 so far in the Cactus League.
The only team in the majors with an undefeated rotation. And tonight, Patrick looks to continue that trend against a Reds team that did not send most of its big left-hand hitters over from Goodyear. So no Joey Votto, no Jay Bruce, as we've seen. The switch-hitting Billy Hamilton getting the night off as well. What a night here in Scottsdale. Diamondbacks and Reds, we are set to go. Scott Berry will be our plate umpire tonight. And the former Dodger, Jose Peraza, leads it off. Peraza just 7 big league games to his credit. He's only 21 years old. Having a good spring, 385, a double and a home run. He's also stolen 4 bases. He has very good speed. There's a strike 0-1.
And you mentioned he came over from the Dodgers in that 3-way deal that sent Todd Frazier to the White Sox. Peraza starting at shortstop in the ball game here tonight.
A youngster that the Reds liked a lot, a guy that they think they can build around moving forward. Chris Owings has to hurry here. Peraza runs well, but they get the 4-3 putout to open up the ball game. Well, they traded Todd Frazier, as Bob mentioned. That created an opening at third base, and this is the guy who will fill it. We saw him at shortstop last year after they lost Zach Kozar to a knee injury. It's a Eugenio Suarez who had a lot of playing time last season, and is having a good spring. 375, 3 doubles and a home run. He's knocked in 4.
A lot of guys in this Reds lineup tonight, and probably in their opening day lineup for that matter, are guys that came from other organizations. Suarez came from the Tigers in the deal that sent Alfredo Simon, the relief pitcher, to the Tigers.
Reds very careful last year when things went south for them quickly not to use the term rebuild. but it's a bit of a reboot. There's a strike.
Teams don't like that word, rebuild.
Either they completely embrace it or they run away from it. Bounced foul. Whatever the Diamondbacks are doing, don't change a thing. 11-3-1 in Cactus League play this spring. They have won 7 straight spring training games for the first time since 2002, leading all the major leagues in hits and runs.
Always good to develop those habits that lead to winning ball games, even in spring training. A lot of times the game is decided late by guys who are probably going to start the season in Mobile or Reno. But you want everybody in the organization, when they leave camp, to have an idea what you have to do to win ball games. And for some of these minor league players, they're the guys that have come through late in games.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Eugenio Suarez. Call, strike 3. Patrick Corbin rings him up, 2 down. Let's take a look at those Cactus League standings. The Diamondbacks so far running away with things. At what point, Bob, do you stop saying, well, it's just spring training?
Well, if you're winning, you say it right away. But, like I said, I just think there's something to be gained from finding ways to win ball games, avoiding losing streaks, which the Diamondbacks certainly have done this spring. And to do it in spring training, maybe not as meaningful as the regular season, but I still think there's something to be learned, something for these guys to take wherever they play their season this year, whether it's at Chase Field or in Reno, in Mobile, anywhere in the Diamondback system. You want guys that know how to win and expect to win.
This is one of those guys. For the Reds, it's Brandon Phillips, his 11th season in Cincinnati. But having a slow spring, just 4 for 22 so far. Now, does it mean anything? Well, let's take a look at last year. Who did well last spring and who did not? Well, the best teams were the A's and the Royals. It worked out well for Kansas City, not so much for Oakland. But all the postseason teams fared pretty well in the spring, which bodes well for Chip Hale's Diamondbacks. 2-1 on that dude BP.
It'd be interesting to talk to the hitters after the ball game tonight about playing under the lights. We talked about all the games up to this point have been at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, bright sunshine, dealing with the sun on fly balls. But the first game under the lights, visibility's a little different as Brandon Phillips knocks one up the middle of the field for the first hit of the game. A little tougher to pick up the rotation on the ball, maybe a little tougher to pick up the ball off the bat until it gets fully dark here at Salt River Field. So it'd be interesting to talk to some of the players about playing night games in spring training.
2-out base runner now for the former Giant Adam Duvall. He's made some brief big league appearances the last couple of years, now in Cincinnati. Came over at the deadline last year in the Mike Leake deal, hitting .300 this spring. He's got 7 RBIs. Duvall, most of last year with AAA Sacramento in the Giants system. He hit .281 there, had 26 home runs, so he's got some power.
Had a 30-homer season back in 2012 playing in A-ball. 30 homers, drove in 100.
He played at the University of Louisville, so he's familiar with the Cincinnati area, certainly. As Billy Hatcher has to duck down low at third. Duvall last year at Sacramento drove in 80 runs in 100 games. Batting cleanup here tonight.
I'll make a prediction right now, partner. They're going to sell a lot of programs in Cincinnati this year.
Well, they still have some of the guys you're used to seeing, Phillips and Votto and Bruce, but yeah, it's a remake. Remember last year they had all rookies in their rotation for what seemed like the whole second half of last season. Roy Patrick working on that changeup and that slider. He's ahead 1-2. Very effective pitch right there. Changeup is an especially a big priority for him this spring. Wellington Castillo behind the plate.
It's like a put-away slider coming from Patrick Corbin. Hopefully a put-away slider.
Phillips takes off. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. And that's the strikeout. So 2 strikeouts in the inning for Patrick Corbin. He gets Suarez. He gets Duvall. Just underway at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. Reds on Fox Sports Arizona. The lineup for Chip Hale's D-backs tonight.
Chip Hale can't go wrong no matter who he puts in that lineup here in the Cactus League. Second season as the D-backs manager. Gene Segura leading it off tonight, hitting .550, a cool .550. He'll be playing shortstop. Socrates Brito out in left field. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. David Peralta out in right field with Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Jake Lamb at third base. Jason Bourgeois in center field. Patrick Corbin moves up to the 8th spot in the lineup. And Chris Owings at second base will bat 9th.
For the Reds, it's 28-year-old right-hander Tim Adelman. Big guy out there at 6'5". He spent last season pitching for their AA affiliate in the Southern League, the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. He was 9-10 there. But that 2.64 ERA was the 3rd best in the league. He has never pitched in the big leagues. He may have a shot with Cincinnati this year. The sizzling hot Gene Segura leads it off. And there's strike one. Boy, what a start this guy's had to his Diamondback career. Batting .550, 11 hits in 20 at-bats, including a double and a home run. Smacks this one out toward right center. Holt on the run. He won't get there. Gene Segura is at it again. A leadoff double. That was 12 for 21, grab you.
That's pretty good. Wow. Boy, his eyes just light up when he sees a pitch up in the zone, especially up and out over the plate. He has shown some power to that opposite field gap. Gets that heater about belt high outside part of the plate and just rips it into the right center field gap for an easy leadoff double.
Segura has hit safely in every game this spring. He's at second to start it off, and here is Socrates Brito. Himself having an outstanding spring so far. Brito, .391 in 8 Cactus League games. 9 hits, 6 RBIs. He's got a pair of doubles and a home run. That one will be snared behind the bag by Perez, and Brito with that speed beats it out. Segura's in at third.
You just love that. So many times a guy will move that ball up the middle of the field or to the right side to advance that runner to third base and be content. Okay, I hit a ground ball out, but I moved the runner up to third. Brito is not content just to move the runner. He wants to leg it out for an infield hit.
Barraza kind of took his time there, and Brito with that great speed is aboard. They rule it a base hit. They're on the corners. Nobody out for Goldie. And Goldie having a quiet spring through his first 8 games, 5 for 23.
Let's get a kick out of Goldie looking down to Matt Williams for a sign.
Hit. What's the sign for hit?
If he lets it go, you swing at it.
You won't swing at it if it's not a strike. We've learned that over the years. There's Matt Williams coaching down at third.
I like those pants. They got great looking uniforms.
Swings at the 2-0 and chops it into the Diamondback dugout.
We've seen Goldie do a little bit more of that this spring, swinging to 2-0, 3-0, 3-1 pitches. A lot of times during the regular season, he prefers to see another pitch, even if it's in the zone, and then go to work on the next pitch.
Segura at third, Brito at first. Good speed on the bases. Just inside, 3 balls and a strike.
Another long look down to third base by Paul Goldschmidt. Right now, he wants to know whether Socrates Brito is running from first base. 3-1 count. Good time to start a runner with a batter at the plate that has a great eye for the zone.
And sure enough, Brito takes off. This is a slow roller. Suarez charges. He's got no play. Segura scores. 1-0 Diamondbacks. He's kind of died out there like a sandwich on him, and Goldie has the RBI.
Guy can hit the ball 500 feet, and he drives one about 30 feet down that third baseline for an RBI base hit.
So the first 3 Diamondbacks have reached. A run is in, and it's David Peralta. Peralta, a home run here Saturday off the Orioles' Chris Medlin. He's hitting .250 this spring. In the air, left field, Duvall. Brito with that speed, going to tag up, and he's in at third ahead of the throw. Boy, he does something good almost every game that draws your attention. What an athlete out there.
Got a great read out there at second base. He saw that the left fielder Duvall was going to have to back up a step or two to make the play on that drive off the bat of David Peralta. And as soon as Brito saw that left fielder backing up, he went back to tag at second and easily advances on to third base.
They're on the corners with 1 out now for Wellington Castillo, who is slugging over 1,000 this spring. Castillo, 7 hits in 17 at bats. All of those hits have been for extra bases. He's got 5 doubles and a pair of homers. So beef has definitely been on the menu here. There's a strike.
Never too early to start thinking situational hitting with 1 out and runners on the corners here. Wellington Castillo wants to avoid swinging at pitches down around the knees or lower. Ideally get something up in the zone you can lift in the air to the outfield. potentially for a base hit, but you don't want to chase those pitches down around your knees where you might hit a ground ball, result in a double play.
Adelman has a good fastball. It gets up to about 94. And Brian Price says it's the type of fastball with that deception in late life that makes it a little more valuable than just the velocity might suggest.
Adelman pitching out of the stretch since the beginning of the ball game here.
He spent a lot of time in the minors as a relief pitcher.
Used to pitching out of the bullpen. A big, tall guy, 6'5". Probably has some issues with his mechanics out of the windup. Feels much more comfortable just pitching out of that abbreviated stretch.
Well, it took Adelman a long time to get here. He spent 2 full seasons playing independent ball. He played for teams like the Lincoln Salt Dogs, the El Paso Diablos, and the New Jersey Jackals.
The Jackals.
Back into affiliated ball with the Reds. A little flare along the right field line, foul. He has spent the last 2 seasons in Cincinnati's minor league system, working mostly as a reliever, but last year was converted into a starter and did very well. That 2.64 ERA, 3rd best in the Southern League. Great night to be out there tonight. Just gorgeous. We have been packing them in here all spring. Record crowd the other day. 13,000 plus on Saturday against the Royals. Great crowd here Monday afternoon to watch a win over the Mariners. 2-2 to Beef Wellington. Called, strike 3. Scott Berry rings him up. First strikeout for Adelman, 2 down.
That called third strike to Wellington Castillo was set up by the first pitch of the at-bat. Adelman just rolled a curveball up there in the middle of the plate for a called strike. And once the count went to 2 strikes, I think perhaps Welly was thinking he was going to get that curveball again, but instead a 4-seam fastball right on the outside corner.
Well, after a slow start to his Cactus League season, Jake Lamb really starting to heat up at the plate. With that new stance, you'll note the hands lower and a lot closer to his body. And it's been a quicker bat we've seen here. There's a strike on 1.
When that's so important to get results. When you change something mechanically in your swing, or a pitcher changes something in his delivery, you'd like to get that immediate positive feedback to tell you you're on the right path.
He was striking out a lot the first week of spring training games. He's picked it up lately, hitting .375 now. 3 doubles and a homer for Jake. The swing is definitely not nearly, Bob, as long as we saw last year.
And that should really pay benefits for Chip Hale and the Diamondbacks and Jake Lamb this season. There were times last year he got beat inside with good fastballs. Swing was just a little bit too long. That quicker approach, hitting the ball to the opposite field more this year than we've seen him in the past.
There's Phil Nevin, Reno Aces manager, here in camp this spring. 2-1. Throw down to first. Goldie wandered it off the bag. They got Brito hung up now, and he's back in time at third. Well, Socrates always looking for that little opening. He wandered about halfway down that third base line. And Goldie well off the bag at first.
Always ready to go that next 90 feet, anticipating that pickoff throw to first base. If it was in the dirt or offline at all, he probably tries to come on down the line and score.
Base hit. Jake Lamb rolls it into left field. Brito scores. 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Here's that opposite field approach we were talking about just a moment ago. With a quicker swing, you can wait a lot longer to recognize the pitch. Jake sees one down away from him and shoots it through that hole in the left side of the infield for an RBI knock.
Here's the former Cincinnati Red playing center field tonight. Jason Bourgeois, the RBI single for Lamb. So Bourgeois before the ball game tonight, getting reacquainted with some of his former Cincinnati teammates. Ball 1. Bourgeois hitting an even 200 this spring. He's 5 for 25. homered last week against the Angels in Tempe. A lot of competition here for that fourth outfielder spot on Chip Hale's bench. And Jason Bourgeois competing with Ricky Weeks Jr. Socrates Brito in the mix as well. Evan Marzilli. Popped him up. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, will let Suarez take it on the mound. He comes in from third and collects it. And that's the end of the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 2 runs on 3 hits. Segura starts us off. Boy, is he hot. A leadoff double. Brito drives him home. Then Lamb an RBI single. Or Goldie, pardon me. 2-0 Diamondbacks after 1. Here at Salt River Field at Talking Stick. Sunday NASCAR Sprint Cup racing heads to Fontana with the Auto Club 400 on Fox as Brad Keselowski looks to defend his title from last year. It's all Sunday at noon only on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Patrick Corbin with a 2-0 lead. He'll work to Jordan Pacheco. Yorman Rodriguez and Tyler Holt 5, 6, and 7 in the Cincinnati second. And here is former D-backs great Jordan Pacheco, playing first base tonight, trying to win a job with the Reds.
You got to believe, based on his experience and his versatility and where the Reds are in their rebooting process, that there is a place for Jordan Pacheco on this Reds roster. We'll see how it goes as the Cactus League wraps up in a few weeks. But as we know from past experience, this is a very versatile guy. You can put him behind the plate, plays anywhere on the infield, corner, outfield spots.
Long run for Goldie, can't quite get there. Well, Pacheco, he's had a good spring with the Reds, 11 games, hitting .292. He's got a couple of home runs. Parts of 2 seasons with the Diamondbacks, he hit just under .260 in Arizona after coming over from the Rockies. Patrick Corbin. That's his 3rd strikeout, 1 down in the second.
to see Patrick using all of his weapons. We saw him throw a slider to strike out Duvall to end the top half of the first inning. This time an elevated four-seam fastball to Jordan Pacheco, and he cannot hold up.
Corbin has struck out 3 of the last 4 he's faced. 1 down now for Stormin Yorman Rodriguez. Jumps on the first one, bounces it, belt high, right to Segura. 2 down. That'll bring up Tyler Holt, the center fielder. This is Patrick Corbin's 3rd start this spring. The results so far have been very encouraging. 10 days ago, 2 innings against the Cubs, gave up 2 hits and struck out 3. And then last Friday against the Royals in surprise, Patrick was outstanding. Allowed only 2 hits in 3 innings. And as always, he really attacked the hitters. This is a guy that goes right after you. Against Kansas City, 34 pitches, 22 strikes. And he said afterward he felt like he wasn't as amped up as he was the first time out this spring. A little more relaxed, a little more poised out there. Which I guess is to be expected.
Yeah, it's understandable when you've been away from the game and gone through the injury and the rehab the way Patrick Corbin did, and then you come back to spring training fully healthy. Just another pitcher on the staff this year. That first start, you get some butterflies going, but quickly settling in.
Carved out to right, Peralta runs it down near the line. A 1-2-3 second, a shutdown inning for Patrick Corbin. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 2-0.
Over the Reds, D-backs offense has been on fire during Cactus League play. They have not, though, had the services of their center fielder, A.J. Pollock. Lately, A.J. joins me now, and A.J., that elbow has been sore. And, you've said that you get this pretty much every spring. Why is this spring a little bit different?
It's not really that different. I think it's just kind of the timing of it. Last year was a little bit before spring training even started, so I just shut it down. And then when spring training started, I managed it, and I think I just got a little excited. You have your teammates out here, and I probably tried to do a little too much, but I'm not worried about it. We got a lot of baseball in spring, and then, I'm definitely going to be, getting back at it here pretty soon.
How is it progressing right now, and what type of things are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing throwing, hitting. It's just matter. It's day to day right now. Just want to make sure it's not so much getting it back; it's keeping it there. I had it back to pretty close to 100% and did too much, so. It's more concentrating on once I get it back there, just to keep it there and not being able to, just get it behind me.
Last year an All-Star, you hit 20 home runs, 39 stolen bases, and just for you, can you describe what that season was like for you?
Yeah, it was good. You know, there's always a lot of times where you feel like you left something out there, or, you know, there was a bat here and a bat there. So I'm always looking to get better, but I think as, you know, me and as a whole and as a team, I think, you know, we showed a lot of potential, a lot of a good foundation, and hopefully we can kind of build from that this year. I think we're all just really excited.
This competition, Jake Lamb told me, look, I try not to compare myself too much to the other guys because it seems like everybody's batting 375, 400 right now, and there's a lot of competition going on right now, and you know, it just shows what these guys are able to. Give us a scouting report on that, AJ.
That was Corbin right there. It's good. I saw him in the cage today. He was taking a lot of hacks, so puts in the work. You know, he does it on the mound. He does it in the batter's box too. So it's great to watch these guys. It's been actually really impressive. You know, seeing how the offense has been operating. It's basically, you know, chalk up 10 runs a game. I know it's not going to be like that the whole year, but it's been really impressive.
For you, the changes in the offseason with Greinke coming on, Shelby Miller, how much more does that ratchet up the expectation level, and how ready are you guys for that?
Yeah, I think, you know, for us, we just go out there and prepare the right way and play hard. And, you know, the expectations are, that's kind of the outside world putting on us. But, you know, if we take care of what we can take care of, you know, and then obviously you add in Greinke, you add in Shelby and a couple other pieces. You know, Segura's hitting the ball really well right now. But you add those in and you know, it should be really, really nice.
You know, there have been a couple changes to the staff with Dave Magadan coming on. Obviously, Matt Williams is back here with the team.
Wow, that ball is gone. Oh, man. Just put a hole in the wall.
See what this offense is able to do.
This is impressive. It's really impressive, actually. You know, I'm getting nervous getting, you know, a couple days away, and I really got to be on top of my game because everyone's smoking the ball. But, yeah, you said, you know, Magadan, I got, you know, a good chance to get to know him. Just such a great job. We've had a couple meetings with as a team and as the offense together. And man, he's got some really, really good ideas and just a good mindset for us as a team. And very lucky to have him. Obviously, Butch too. You know, I've kind of picked his brain from coming from a different team and you know the scouting reports they do. So he's got a very, very good angle on things, and you know, we're lucky to have him as well.
AJ, we will look forward to seeing you jump into the fray here and just get right into this offense that seems to be on fire right here midway through spring. Thanks for the time, AJ.
All right, take care. Thank you.
All right, AJ Pollock, guys, we'll send it up to you.
Well, AJ had the offense going there, Bob. With Corbin the leadoff double, Owings doubles him home, and it's 3-0 for Segura.
If Segura makes it out here, we're going to have to get AJ back on the air quickly. Not that we're superstitious or anything.
Has he made an out this spring, Segura?
It's amazing how your perspective on the game changes. A guy like A.J. Pollock, after the numbers he put up last season, if you'd ask him 2 or 3 years ago, can you play? Oh, yeah, because he's battling for a spot. He's trying to earn his keep on the roster. But after the year he had last year, and knowing how long spring training is and how long the regular season is, he's just taking it easy under the direction of the medical staff and his coaching staff. You know, don't push it. We know what you can do. When you're an unknown, you've got to drag your rear end out there regardless if you feel good or not, because you have to take advantage of every opportunity to show what you can do.
2 balls and a strike to Gene Segura. Sure enough, he dunks it into right. Another hit for Segura. Matt Williams waving Owings home. He will score, and it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. Gene Segura. He is 13 for 22 this spring.
I just love the fact he's trying to do the right thing, move the ball to the right side of the field, and he gets rewarded this time. Goes out and digs one out. Little floating line drive just over the infield. Good enough to get another runner on the plate.
Tony La Russa is saying Gene Segura, the talent is real. It sure looks like he's got his head in the right place after some troubles in Milwaukee. And a guy who Tony says his skills are way above average. And he has looked like a new guy here in Sedona Red after a couple of tough years in Milwaukee. Here's Socrates Brito now. He singled and scored his first time up. That one goes right through Tucker Barnhart. Segura gets second base. That scored a wild pitch. Tim Adelman trying to get it together out there. Brito bangs it over the glove of Phillips. Segura had to hold up, and he'll stop at third. Socrates Brito 2 for 2. And Adelman backing up the play. It's getting harder and harder to ignore what Socrates Brito is doing here this spring.
Yeah, certainly Chip and his coaches and Tony La Russa and Dave Stewart, DeJohn Watson, the guys up here in the booth, they not only look at the score sheet to see who gets hits, but what kind of hits are they getting? That last one was a bullet off the bat of Socrates Brito.
Double, double, single, single so far in the Diamondbacks second. And here's Goldie. John Watson, Tony La Russa, Dave Stewart. The front office in the booth right down the row from us here at Salt River Fields. Some hard decisions to be made here. Goldie an RBI single his first time up. He had 2 weeks of drills in camp, then basically 2 weeks of games. The only scheduled day off was yesterday, and you sort of get the sense, Bob, that from here on in, the real battles for these jobs begin at the highest levels. And rolls away from Barnhart, and Brito scampers into second.
It's only fair to the guys that maybe come from cold weather states that can't get outdoors and participate in a lot of baseball activities leading up to the start of spring training. So it's only fair that everybody has a certain amount of time to get ready. You mentioned 2 weeks of fundamental drills and batting practice and side sessions. A couple weeks of games now, and guys should be in good baseball shape at this point. Have all the calluses where you need them, have all the blisters where you don't want them. But yeah, now's the time if you're trying to win a job or show what you can do to win a job. Now's the time to probably turn on the switch.
2-2. Goldie dunks it into right. Segura held up. He will score from third. Rodriguez bobbles it out there. Now Brito going to come home as the Reds are slow to get it in. And he scores. Goldie in at second. 6-0 D-backs. The Reds figured that Brito was going to stop at third, and as soon as they gave kind of a lackadaisical throw into the infield, Brito took off.
Now, Matt Williams was throwing up the stop sign. You see Brito went back to the bag initially, and Matty's holding him up right here. But when the ball is bobbled out in right field, that's basically Brito on his own. Realizing that I can put some pressure on the defense here. It's going to take a perfect throw to get me, and he's in safely on his belly as Goldie advances on to second.
And Adelman has yet to retire a batter in the second inning, and his night is over. So the Reds go to the bullpen. All Diamondbacks so far. The hottest hitting team in baseball this spring leads at 6-0. for the Reds is the former Yankee Caleb Cotham. And the offense, Bob, has been on display all spring long.
Boy, it really has. And you have to believe that a certain amount of the credit has to go to Dave Magadan. You heard A.J. Pollock talking about it, the approach that they want the players to have, starting with the first game of spring training, and they've taken it right out on the field from the batting cages, and pretty much everybody up and down the lineup having a good time in the Cactus League.
So still no outs in the inning. Goldie at second, 6 runs in. David Peralta flying out his first time up. Caleb Cotham, 28-year-old right-hander from Vanderbilt, appeared last year in 12 games for the Yankees. His numbers this spring as a Red. 2-0.
You know, you set your lineup for specific reasons. You put your on-base percentage guys and your faster guys at the top of the order, but I don't think Chip Hale could have envisioned this. Segura 2 for 2, he scored 2 runs. Brito 2 for 2, he scored 2 runs. Goldie 2 for 2, he's driven in 2 runs.
Time to get the freight train on the tracks right here. Reno. Little Goldie was here the other day. Baby Jake and Amy were in the lobby. Got to visit with them for a couple of minutes on Monday, wearing a little Goldie 44 shirt. Big blue eyes. He's a happy little guy.
This will be a confusing night for the children of Major League ball players that are used to having dad home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Better get used to that, huh?
Have a little dinner, read a few books, tuck Junior in for the night. Well, those days are numbered.
I tell you, you work nights in this business, but spring training rolls along and the alarm goes off at 6 every morning. What's happened? Diamondbacks already with 6 runs on 9 hits. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Well, the Diamondbacks have been so busy scoring, we didn't get a chance to take a look at our defense for the Reds, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Adam Duvall actually out in left field. Tyler Holt in center. Yorman Rodriguez in right. It'll be Suarez and Peraza on the left side of the infield. With Brandon Phillips at second base. George Pacheco at first. Tucker Barnhart doing the catching.
Wellington Castillo. Castillo struck out looking in his first at bat. That is a fair ball down the left field line. This will score Goldie. Duvall plays it off to Karam. Peralta's in at third. And it's 7-0 Diamondbacks.
Extra base streak continues for Wellington Castillo. 8 base hits in spring training, all for extra bases. This one right down the third base line. Duvall a little confused out there where to go with the ball initially. Thinks second. He looks at third. By the time he gets the ball back in, everybody has advanced 90 feet. Runners at second and third now for Jake Lamb.
Jake had an RBI single his first time up. Lamb is the 8th Diamondback hitter in this inning. And the Reds have yet to record an out here in the second. getting ready for tomorrow.
A little bit early.
Everybody will be wearing green uniforms tomorrow. Jake Lamb strikes out. That's the first out in the second.
Hey, yeah.
Brings up Jason Bourgeois, the former Red. Infield creeping in for the Reds with a 1 out. Peralta the runner at third and Castillo at second. Oh and 2. Yes, he went. Barnhart will look Peralta back to the bag and complete the strikeout. That's 2 down. And here's the guy who started off this inning with a double off the wall in left center field. Patrick Corbin, the pitcher, once again for Chip Hale, batting 8th tonight. And we're told we'll see a lot more of this year.
Depending on the personnel you have in the lineup on a given day, I think this is a real good idea.
Why so?
You got a guy like Chris Owings hitting 9th today. If he would happen to get on base and you roll around to the top of the order, in effect, it's like having 2 leadoff hitters, one in the 9-hole, one in the 1-hole. And the idea is to get as many guys on base in front of Paul Goldschmidt and A.J. Pollock when he's back healthy. And you've got a pitcher that's capable of swinging the bat and doing some damage in that 8th spot. I like the idea of flip-flopping those 2 guys at the bottom of the order.
And if you have to have an A.J. Pollock at the top of the order or near the top, it does create extra RBI opportunities for him. Tony La Russa used to do a bit of this in his day. Unless, of course, Gene Segura hits 650 this year, and then maybe you rethink that whole Pollock leadoff thing. This is Corbin, who led off the second with that double.
Ball was crushed. A short, abbreviated follow through. Gets it up and over the fence out there in left center. Getting an earful from Brandon Phillips out there at second base, too.
What else is new?
Yeah. You have no choice.
Yeah. And there's the strikeout, but the Diamondbacks put up 5 and through 2. They lead the Reds 7-0. lead the Reds. Hey fans, secure tickets now. D-backs opening day at Chase Field is coming up. Well, it'll be here before you know it, Monday, April 4. First pitch 6:40 versus the Colorado Rockies. Zach Greinke makes his Diamondback debut. Opening day, a game you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. Patrick Corbin busy hitting doubles and scoring runs in that inning, so he's a little behind in his warm-up tosses. But we have another full house here at Salt River Fields after a record crowd on Saturday to watch the Royals, 13,000 plus. Another big crowd here tonight, the first night game in Scottsdale. But Corbin, as he starts the third, has 3 strikeouts. He's given up just 1 base hit, a single to Brandon Phillips. He's retired 4 straight. And the catcher, Tucker Barnhart, leads off the Reds' third. Diamondbacks 7 runs on 10 hits. Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher. 3 for 18 this spring, a double and a home run. As we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Patrick Corbin will line up third in Chip Hale's rotation. And that's been made official. He'll start the final game of that series against the Rockies to open things up. And Chip said last week they looked really at the first month of the season. They went through the matchups, who's going to face different people, how does it look? And the way they looked at things, they figured out that in terms of the matchups, Patrick would be best in the 3-hole. And Shelby Miller would be best pitching second behind Zach Greinke. So Patrick Corbin's first starts this year should be against the Rockies, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. 2-2 pitch. And they had looked at maybe splitting up the 2 right-handers up top in Greinke and Miller with a lefty Corbin in between, but Chip said, the way things play out, they'll likely have back-to-back right-handers starting at some point in the rotation anyway, so there wasn't a whole lot of benefit to doing that.
And if you think about Zach Greinke and his stuff and the way he approaches his starts, and Shelby Miller and the way he approaches his starts, I think there's enough of a difference there that you're not seeing 2 righties back-to-back days that are very similar. Shelby Miller relying more on that 2-seamer down in the zone, tries to get ground balls. Zach Greinke with an assortment of pitches, basically fastball, slider, changeup, but there's enough difference between those 2 guys. I don't think Chip or Mike Butcher feel that that's a problem running those 2 guys out there back to back. And if they did think it was a problem, Patrick Corbin probably would be in the 2 spot.
3-2 to Tucker Barnhart. Ball 4. Just the second base runner for the Reds. Well, Tim Adelman, the pitcher who left the game before his spot in the batting order, came up. So here is Cotham. Lamb well in on the grass at third. Here comes Goldie from first. Gets the bunt down. Jake's on it. Always covers. And they move Barnhart along. That's the first out.
Nicely done routine bunt fundamental play right there. Jake Lamb came in to field that bunt on the third base side, and Wellington Castillo ran right by him on down to cover the bag at third. Should the runner Barnhart at first base have any ideas about going first to third, Wellington Castillo was there.
Jose Peraza, the shortstop, grounded out in his first at bat. Peraza, pretty aggressive hitter up there. He's not terribly patient, but he looks at strike 1. A young player that the Reds seem to like a lot. He was originally signed out of Venezuela by the Braves. traded to the Dodgers at the deadline last July. That was part of the deal that sent Alex Wood to LA. And then in December, Peraza, as Bob mentioned, involved in another 3-team trade. This one was the Todd Frazier deal. He went to the White Sox, and Peraza and Scott Schebler came to Cincinnati.
Like a vitamin, one a day. You see one pickoff at second base every spring training game. We talked about it in previous telecasts. Guys work on it early in the afternoon in the case of a night game, or early in the morning in the case of a day game. At least one day a week you come out here and work on your pickoff throws to first, pickoff throws to second. If you have any trick pickoff plays, you work on them early in the day, and then when the situation arises in a game, it's just second nature to try it again.
Here's one for you. Who's the best guy you ever had that had the best pickoff move to second base?
Second base. I'd have to think about that a little bit.
It's a tough one. I put you on the spot there. Some guys seem to like to do it more than others. Corbin ahead 0-2. Tied them all up. He did not go. Long discussion here with Scott Berry. And yeah, they did not appeal. So Berry did not appeal down to first. That's the strikeout for Corbin. His fourth of the ball game.
Getting back to your question, Brian Anderson, a left-handed pitcher, jumps to mind immediately. Slider down and in under the bat there. Home plate umpire Scott Berry called that himself all the way. Didn't have to appeal down to first. I mean, Brian Anderson had a good pickoff move at first, and he really worked on that inside move where the pitcher just picks up the front leg and rotates around, throws to second base.
Eugenio Suarez.
Really, those pickoffs at second base, it's a joint effort. The timing between the middle infielder and the pitcher. Occasionally, the catcher's involved in those pickoffs at second base as well, but everything has to work perfectly. If the infielder breaks too soon, the runner sees it and he'll cheat back to the bag a little bit. If the pitcher spins around too soon, the fielder won't be at the base ready in time to take the throw. And of course, the more you work with guys, you know which pitchers are a little quicker, which pitchers are a little slower, which middle infielders break a little soon, which guys break a little late. You talked about getting into that point in spring training a couple weeks in, start really looking at those position battles. Also, you want to start matching up the guys you think are going to be playing together, which is especially tough for the Diamondbacks because a lot of the question marks are in the middle infield positions, and you'd like to get your shortstop and second baseman that you envision being your starters out there together as often as possible.
This is a combo we've seen a lot, Segura and Owings. Sometimes it's Segura at short, sometimes he's at second with CO at shortstop. And Nick Ahmed having an excellent spring as well. Phil Gosselin in the mix. Brandon Drury, Jake Lamb at third. He did not go. Ted Barrett down there at first. Well, Corbin, very good basketball player in high school. Excellent athlete out there. We've seen pitchers over recent seasons that have some issues throwing to the bases. Matt Garza, John Lester. Matt Garza. 2-2. Got him. Patrick Corbin. He's through 3 innings. He has struck out 5. He's got a 7-0 lead. Corbin mowing down the Reds, and the Diamondback bats leading the majors in hits and runs this spring. At it again. 10 hits, 7 runs. Bottom third coming up. Sports Arizona is presented in part by Ram Trucks. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month.
Oh, nothing like some Mike and Sharon's cactus corn, kettle corn. You name it, they got it here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. The Diamondbacks lead the Reds 7-0. Set for the home half of the third. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Bradley, and Jody Jackson with you as Chris Owings leads it off. CO an RBI double his first time up. And he has looked like the Chris Owings of old this spring, hitting better than .350.
He narrowly missed a home run his first at bat of this ball game. Banged the ball off the wall out there in left center field. Looked like it was going to leave the yard off the bat. Certainly made that good sound. He had to settle for a double in that inning.
And we've talked a lot about that shoulder injury that really sidetracked him all last year. He says, look, I'm a lot better baseball player than I was last year. And he's got a track record that proves it, a career .290 hitter in the minor leagues, Coast League MVP award. And he's back to being that line drive hitter we saw before the shoulder injury in June of 2014. Wound up needing labrum surgery and wiped out his whole offseason going into last year. And spent the season trying to play catch up. Easy to forget with Chris Owings because he's played with the Diamondbacks for the last 3 years. He's still only 24 years old. He was a first-round pick in high school out of Gilbert, South Carolina, and had committed to play college baseball for the Gamecocks, but then signed with the Diamondbacks after he was drafted. And he's been around so long, you forget he's still really just a kid. In the air, right field, Rodriguez. Well, Gene Segura starting to run out of things to say about the spring that this guy has had. A double, an RBI single. He has scored twice tonight. He has 13 hits in 22 at-bats this spring.
He hits mistakes, he hits pitches, just barrels the ball up nearly every at bat so far in the Cactus League.
An all-star shortstop in Milwaukee 3 seasons ago, but coming off a pair of disappointing years with the Brewers. His birthday is tomorrow. He'll be 26. So this will be his age 26 season. Diamondbacks still with 3 years of control on Segura. So this is another guy you forget how young he is. New team, new attitude, new opportunity to play the game, he says, and he wants to take advantage of it. And so far, boy, is he ever.
Is he ever.
You know, the way that he stands there, he kind of looks, Bob, like a right-hand version of Jake Lamb. The stances are a little similar with the hand position. Swing and a miss, and they figure out a way to retire Segura.
A couple of rolling breaking balls for called strikes, and then an elevated fastball gets that awkward-looking strike 3 from Segura. Gotham immediately gets some Cy Young votes in the National League. Anybody that gets out Gene Segura in the Cactus League, you got a chance to win the Cy Young.
He's got 4 strikeouts. Brito 2 for 2. Chip Hale says Socrates Brito is in the race to be on this team. There is no doubt about it. Not a day he doesn't do something good. Defensively, offensively, he's been impressive. You're told Yasmani Tomas took another full round of batting practice and might be back in the lineup as soon as tomorrow. Hopefully by this weekend at the latest, which is about the same time we expect to see A.J. Pollock. So the news is good on both the Tomas and Pollock fronts. Yasmani Tomas with a knee, A.J. with that elbow. But the way this young man has played at the age of 23, a lot of people talking about Rookie of the Year. But a long way to go before we get there. A slow roller. Pacheco has it. And it's a 1-2-3 Diamondback third. Patrick Corbin rolling along. He's got 5 strikeouts already. And he holds a 7-0 lead at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. 4th inning coming up. Diamondbacks, they lead the Reds here in the 4th. Hey fans, customize your own ticket package with a D-backs mini plan. You can choose from opening day, big series like the Cubs or the Yankees. Pick the bobblehead games, any combination you choose. In fact, you can save over single game prices with a 6 or a 10 game mini plan. You can buy them right now at dbacks.com. Brandon Phillips has the Reds' only hit tonight against Patrick Corbin, who has walked 1, struck out 5, and Phillips leads off the Reds' 4th. Pulls that one down the line fair. It's in the left field corner. Brito plays it off the bullpen wall, and Brandon Phillips has a leadoff double. He's 2 for 2.
Phillips, a lot of topspin on that hooking line drive down into the left field corner. Rattles around down there for Socrates Brito. And looks like Phillips is going to stay in. I thought maybe second at bat, 2 knocks in the ball game. He might come out of this one, but he's going to stay in there at second base and run.
Adam Duvall, the cleanup man. Corbin, the left-hander, on the mound, so we see no Joey Votto, no Jay Bruce tonight for Brian Price. Popped him up in front of the Reds dugout. Goldie has room. Brings up the former Diamondback, Jordan Pacheco.
Got to enjoy missing Jay Bruce and Joey Votto when you can, because if this is a regular season game, Joey Votto for sure would be in there against Patrick Corbin.
I mean, he killed lefties last year.
And Jay Bruce probably, depending on how the rest of this Reds roster shakes out at the end of spring training.
It was a rough year for Brian Price last year. Diamondbacks went in there in August and swept a 4-game series. But they've held on to Votto and Bruce and Phillips. Devin Mesoraco, their former All-Star catcher, is back from a hip injury, although he's not in the lineup tonight. They've got some young guys they like Peraza and Schebler. Billy Hamilton is always entertaining if he can get on base a little more often.
Yeah, that might be worth the price of admission if you're a Reds fan this year. See if Billy Hamilton can swipe 100 bases, if he can get on base enough to steal 100 bases. Did it a couple times in the minor leagues. 58 steals, I believe, last season.
And what really hurts Hamilton's game is that on-base percentage. It was .274 last year, which was a drop of about 20 points from the previous season. 1-1 on Jordan Pacheco. Salt River Fields at Talking Stick in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona. The spring training home of the Arizona Diamondbacks and Colorado Rockies. Cincinnati Reds made the trip over from Goodyear here tonight, where they share a facility with the Cleveland Indians. Indians had a game there this afternoon. I love to go out to Goodyear and check out that airplane graveyard that's across the street. That's a trip, man.
It's a haul to get over to Goodyear.
Yeah. They could fly, but all the planes are over there. They bury them over there. They refurbish them. You see these giant airliners across the street from the ballpark. Never even heard of some of these airlines, but there are the planes. It's like a scene from a movie. 2-1.
Well, the real airplane graveyard is just north of Tucson. I mean, we made that trip many, many times when the Diamondbacks trained down there in Tucson. I mean, there are literally thousands of retired Air Force jets and fighter jets and bombers and all different kinds of planes just sitting out there in the middle of the desert.
Nowhere else to put them.
Well, they don't rust.
2-2. But this is the time of year to be out here in the valley. Enjoy some Cactus League baseball. The proximity of all the facilities. All the teams. You got 15 teams here. And at the most, you're going to drive 20-30 minutes to get from one to the other. So come on out for a week and watch some baseball. It's not like Florida where you're looking at a 2 or 3 hour drive ballpark to ballpark. You can do 2 games a day here at different facilities, different sites, day and night games. Full count, 3-2. And if you're a Diamondback fan, well, you're already here. Pacheco, I'm sure at some point, has caught Patrick Corbin. Hanging in there with Corbin right at 50 pitches. Just about at the point where Chip would like to see his starters get 4 innings. That's been the plan this turn through the rotation this week. This is driven out to right field, backs up Peralta. Phillips will head for third.
A nice break on the ball that time by David Peralta. Toughest one to gauge is that one hit right at you, and that was a humpback line drive hit directly at him over his head toward the warning track, and he turned and sprinted to the spot to make the play.
So 2 down. Phillips at third. Yorman Rodriguez now, who is 3 for 21 this spring. Rounded out his first time up. Mike Butcher, the new pitching coach, on the left there. Chip Hale, the skipper, on the right. There is nobody throwing as of this moment in the Diamondback bullpen, although things are starting to get busy down there. Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher, on alert, running down there. They'll get Reeder cranked up. Looks like Matt Stites has started throwing. Just in case this inning goes a little too long.
Well, that's going to be a really good pitch for Patrick Corbin this year. He missed with the first pitch to fall behind 1-0. Came back with a straight changeup and a fastball count. Most major league hitters, when they get that count swung in their favor, they're looking to hit a fastball. And if you can throw something other than a fastball close to the strike zone, you're going to get a lot of swings and misses at that 1-0 changeup, 2-0 changeup.
That's the pitch he has worked on the most this spring, the one he really wants to turn into a weapon for him. I'm sure Mike Butcher likes to see that. Wants to give something that he can show to lefties and righties to keep him off the slider and the fastball.
Here comes another changeup. Left it up.
And that'll deliver Phillips from third with the first Reds run. The RBI for Storm and Yorman Rodriguez, and it's 7-1. That was a location mistake, I'm going to guess, right?
I think the pitch was okay. Changeup, I have no problem with calling a changeup in that particular situation, but you'd like it down in the zone like the one he threw on the 1-0 pitch. You can see that one's up above the belt out over the plate.
Part of the process.
All part of the process.
Brings up Tyler Holt, the center fielder. Flied out his first time up. And Patrick told us when we talked to him after his first spring training start that working in that changeup more consistently is definitely a priority for him. And probably something he's trying to get to where he can throw it as much as the slider and rely on that pitch when he's in a jam or when he's trying to get ahead in the count. Wants to build up some confidence and consistency in that pitch. Wellington Castillo urging him on.
Slider. You see Patrick's mechanics coming apart just a little bit out there on the mound. Really spun off that last pitch to the third base side. Those are the kind of things you watch for as a pitching coach. You don't want to extend the guy past a point where he might do himself some physical harm out there because of fatigue.
Two and two.
Another added benefit of throwing that changeup a lot down here in the Cactus League, as you well know, partner, there is a bunch of scouts, probably a couple of dozen scouts sitting right behind home plate tonight, charting every pitch that everybody throws, every swing that everybody takes. And Patrick Corbin's report would have to be revised if he starts to throw that changeup as a weapon and get it in and around the strike zone with more regularity.
There they are, the scouting eyes. Stopwatches, radar guns, laptops, iPads. Called strike three. 6 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. And a very encouraging outing tonight. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 7-1. 7-1. Hey fans, tomorrow it's double the action as March to April continues with the Suns taking on the Utah Jazz. That's a 5:30 start on Fox Sports Arizona. Along with hockey, Fox Sports Arizona Plus has the Coyotes and the Sharks. 6:30 face-off for that one. Complete Plus channel listings. Go to foxsportsarizona.com. So Suns Jazz on Fox Sports Arizona. Coyotes Sharks, Fox Sports Arizona Plus. The pitcher for the Reds as we start the home half of the fourth. It's the right-hander Ryan Matthews. A 12.5 ERA this spring. Former LA of Anaheim Angel. Pitched for the Reds last year. Longtime Washington National. Goldie leads off the D-back fourth. He is 2 for 2. A pair of RBI singles. Just had Randy Johnson stop by to say hello between innings. RJ. He's here just about every day.
Says he's doing some scouting. He promised he'd come up and see us during the regular season. We'll get him on the air.
Juan Duran is the new right fielder. Goldie 3 for 3. Knocks it into center, a leadoff single.
So quick for a big man that generates the kind of power that Paul Goldschmidt does. He does it with a very short, quick swing.
David Peralta now. Peralta has flied out and walked. He's 0 for 1. Look, the bottom of David's bat. You know how guys like to put logos on there? David's got the freight train going on the bottom of that bat. There it is. That freight train logo he came up with. This is chopped to second. Phillips has one play. And they move Goldie along. We got to get some fans who sit out in right field to chase this year to start some kind of train station out there. Maybe that would advance this thing to the next level.
I think I have a train whistle at home in the garage. I'll have to do some searching.
Nice.
But
Props, good.
Yeah. Props are always good.
Well, I'm sure after the remodel, there's some stuff lying around. Wellington Castillo now.
Well, even on a tapper to second base there, one of the most sure-handed second basemen in the game, David had the freight train rolling down that first baseline.
Always does. Castillo, an RBI double down the left field line his last time up. He's 1 for 2. He's got 8 hits this spring, all of them for extra bases, 6 doubles and 2 home runs. So he is already into beef mode. Oh, 2. Think about where the Diamondbacks were last year and where Wellington Castillo was last year. The D-backs with their catching situation. Castillo was still a Cub. And then he would become a Mariner for about 10 minutes and then a Diamondback. And he has found a home in Arizona. Acquired from Seattle in the Mark Trumbo deal last June the 3rd. Shortly after the Mariners picked him up from Chicago. No National League catcher hit more home runs last year than Wellington Castillo.
For what he went through last season, I think Wellington Castillo is and will be a better ball player for it. He came up with the Cubs. He was going to be their catcher of the future as long as he wanted to be, but didn't take everything about his job as seriously as he possibly could have. Had the strong throwing arm behind the plate, kind of relied on that, didn't really focus on the fundamentals of receiving the ball or calling a game for his pitcher.
Drives it out to left. It backs up Duvall on the run. He'll play it off the wall. Goldie will come in and score. And guess what? It's another extra base hit for Beef Wellington. And it's 8-1 Diamondbacks. His second double tonight and his 7th this spring.
Really gets some good extension. Maybe got fooled a little bit by the pitch. A breaking ball out away from him, but got full extension. Caught it on the barrel of the bat, and he narrowly misses a home run out there at the 390 mark. Yeah, but just to complete that about Wellington last year and all he went through, you know, to be the fair-haired child, the guy that's going to be the catcher of the future for an organization like the Chicago Cubs, and suddenly they decide that they want to go in a different direction. You go to Seattle, it doesn't appear that it's a great fit for him up there. You start to wonder about your career and where you're headed. And then for him and for the Diamondbacks, both a huge break that he came to Arizona at just the right time. Diamondbacks needed somebody to go back there behind that plate and provide some veteran leadership to some young pitchers. I think Wellington, because of what he went through earlier in the year, realized that those opportunities don't just fall off trees. This might be the last chance I get. And he has really become a different animal in his approach to catching, his approach at the plate. I think in the long run, he's really going to benefit from the adversity he went through last year.
At one point last season, he found himself playing for 3 different teams over one 16-day stretch. And wound up with the best offensive season of his career. 2-1 on Jake Lamb. Jake had an RBI single back in the first. He's 1 for 2. Talked about the hand position with Jake Lamb up there. Saw the same thing from Gene Segura from the right-hand side. Different types of hitters, certainly different lower halves, but the hand position about waist high and in toward the body, the same for both guys.
Yeah, Segura hits out of a little bit more of a crouch, Jake a little bit more upright, but the hands, you know, right there by the D-backs logo across the chest. You see a lot of guys hold that bat way above their back shoulder. Both these guys keep it down near the hitting slot.
Jake calls it a quicker load. You'll recall last year he had his hands way up by his head. So it's a big difference for him this spring. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They got him. First strikeout for Matthews, 2 down. Brings up the former Red, Jason Bourgeois, who's 0 for 2. 10 spring training games for you. Produced by Fox Sports Arizona. A total of 13 televised spring games. You can check out all the listings at foxsportsarizona.com. Next TV game comes up Friday afternoon here against the Dodgers. And that'll be Zach Godley against Brandon Beachy. Dodgers are running out of pitchers, maybe. I mean, they don't think Ryu now, they're saying, will not make a Cactus League start, and May, they're saying, is optimistic. Alex Wood came up with a forearm problem the other day. They've already lost Brett Anderson for about 5 months. It's going to be interesting to see how they piece together a rotation. Brandon McCarthy still coming off Tommy John. Bourgeois rolls it into left. Here comes Castillo, and Duvall misplays it out there. It got behind him. And they'll get Bourgeois at second, but the run scores to make it 9-1. Oh, another wild night of Diamondback offense here. They've scored 9 part by Ram Trucks. Right now, get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Well, a little bit surprised to see Patrick Corbin back out there to start the 5th inning for the Diamondbacks, who lead the Reds 9-1. Former Reds great Sam LeCure is throwing in the Diamondback bullpen, but Corbin will start the inning at just over 60 pitches. Right at 60, in fact.
Yeah, we were told 60 to 65 is what they were hoping to get out of Patrick in the ball game tonight. A little extended there in that 4th inning. He threw 20 pitches. He might only face one hitter right here and then go to the bullpen. We'll see how they choose to handle it. We know that occasionally starting pitcher will come out of the ball game and go on down to the bullpen and throw another 10 or 15 or 20 pitches to get to his limit.
Sam LeCure, who's had a good spring himself and bidding for a bullpen spot, appears to be just about ready down there. Tucker Barnhart leads off the Reds' 5th. Barnhart 3 for 18 this spring, a double and a home run. Switch hitting catcher, rarely hits right-handed. He's usually up there from the left-hand side. Patrick behind 3-1. Leadoff walk, and Chip Hale is quickly up, and that will be it for Patrick Corbin. Well, he walked 2, struck out 6, gave up only 3 hits. All in all, I would say a very encouraging night for Patrick.
Yeah, really looked good once again tonight. Maybe a little bit of fatigue at the end of that last half inning, and to start this inning, the walk to Barnhart, leaving a lot of pitches up, but another outstanding start by Patrick.
Back with more after this. Runs through the first 4 innings. It's a pitcher who is our Nissan high excitement player. A very good night for Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, really good to see Patrick go out there and use his secondary pitches, something he's worked hard on this spring. The slider, the straight changeup, especially to those right-handed hitters. And he got to his pitch count. Probably not happy with walking the last batter he faced. He walked Tucker Barnhart twice in this ball game, but learning experience for Mike Butcher, his new pitching coach, learning his new number 3 starter in the rotation and what to look for when things start to come apart a little bit. And we saw Patrick leave some balls up in the zone. Last few hitters he faced. All part of the learning process, not only for the players, but for the new coaches on the staff as well.
And the new pitcher for the D-backs is the former Red. It's Sam LeCure, the veteran right-hander, who's had a very good spring. This is his 5th appearance. So far, he's worked 4 innings and given up only 2 hits, a walk and 3 strikeouts. Juan Duran, the new right fielder, is the hitter with Barnhart at first. Pitcher spot now 6th in the Reds order. Sam LeCure, 31 years old, he'll be 32 in May. Was not able to win a job with the Reds coming out of their spring training last year and made just 19 big league appearances with Cincinnati. Spent most of last season with their AAA team at Louisville. But in 19 big league appearances, had a 3.15 ERA. Parts of 6 seasons in the big leagues, all with Cincinnati. Right back at you. They'll get 1 at second. No, they won't. The throw is offline. And a good job there by Chris Owings to prevent that from rolling into center field. So LeCure had it in plenty of time, but that's E1.
It looked like a double play ball, broken bat, tapper back to the mound. LeCure spun around. I think there might have been a little indecision on who was covering the bag out there. Chris Owings clearly was going behind to back up the play. Segura went straight to the bag. As you said, that's a nice play by Chris Owings. I mean, when you're backing up the play, especially when you're this close to the play, to have that ball get through Segura and you still keep it out of center field, that's a nice job of backing up the play.
So the first 2 have reached in the Cincinnati 5th, and here's the leadoff man, Jose Peraza, the shortstop. He has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Very aggressive hitter. There's your double play ball. Owings, Segura, they roll it. Taylor made 2 down. Barnhart in at third.
You're right. Taylor made hit hard right at Chris Owings. Plenty of time to shovel on to Segura. No problem with the runner coming into second base. That's about as easy a double play as you'll ever get.
And that's going to drive them nuts, I think, about Peraza, who's still only 21 years old. He's a very aggressive hitter up there, not at all patient. And he's up there hacking right away and hits into a double play ball. So 2 down, Barnhart at third now for Eugenio Suarez.
Sam LeCure is not going to light up any radar guns. His best fastball might touch 90 if he has a little bit of a tailwind, but he's learned his own strengths and weaknesses out there on the mound. He likes to throw that slider away from the right-handed hitters. He can throw it in the strike zone. He can lead them out of the strike zone. He'll sneak a 4-seam fastball in there from time to time. Usually throws a sinker. That's why he gets so many ground balls.
Might be the closest thing there is to a crafty righty.
Yeah, it's a good description.
But he's been hard to overlook so far this spring. There's some smoke coming in from a grill that seems to be getting in Sam's eyes. It's blowing in from behind the Diamondback bullpen. There it is. Good food here. One and two on Suarez, who's already struck out twice. Sam LeCure is a Longhorn, pitched at the University of Texas. A 4th round pick by the Reds back in 05 out of Jefferson City, Missouri. could play a cowboy in the movie, Sam LeCure, with that mustache. Suarez reaches down and rolls it into left center field. Barnhart scores, and it's 9-2. RBI single for Eugenio Suarez. Brings up Brandon Phillips, who's 2 for 2, a single and a double. He has half the Reds' hits today. And a little surprising that he's still in Cincinnati. Reportedly blocked a deal this offseason to the Washington Nationals and a reunion with Dusty Baker. He's a 10-5 guy, so he has full veto power over any trade, but there were reports that he wanted a contract extension as a condition of his trade to Washington. The Nationals said no, moved on. They got Daniel Murphy from the Mets to play second base, and Phillips stayed in Cincinnati. He's got 2 more years and $27 million left in his contract. Seemed a little odd. The Reds are rebooting, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. You can go to Washington and play for a contender there and play for Dusty, but Phillips said, I'm not going, reportedly.
Got a couple teams in that Central Division kind of in the same boat. When you think about the Milwaukee Brewers, they still have a few remnants left over with Ryan Braun and Jonathan Lucroy behind the plate, but a lot of talent has left Milwaukee. Same thing in Cincinnati. Joey Votto's still there. Tony Phillips, or Brandon Phillips rather, is still there. Goldie will handle that one himself. Undergoing some serious changes.
The Reds get a run. Bottom 5 coming up. Diamondbacks lead it 9-2. Half of the 5th in Scottsdale. Fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every D-backs win, you'll get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Just enter promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com. Ricky Weeks Jr. will hit for Patrick Corbin and Sam LeCure's spot to lead off the 5th, and he's had a very good spring. Trying to win a reserve outfield job here. 10 for 20 with 4 RBIs. Ricky Weeks Jr. Ricky still got the bat speed he had in his Milwaukee heyday. begun using the name Ricky Weeks Jr. this spring. That is something new. He said it was a way to honor his father, Ricky Weeks Sr. Ricky had a son this offseason, named him Ricky Weeks III. Says he's a big family person, and he hopes that someday his son will see that he added Weeks Jr. to the back of his jersey to honor the family. So that's a nice touch. Just inside, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, one thing you could always say about Ricky Weeks, he could hit a fastball. And a lot of times in spring training, the pitchers aren't quite as sharp with their secondary pitches as they will be as the season progresses, and he just refuses to miss a fastball right now. Cross up there.
Just a bit outside. Scott Barry back there counting his blessings.
That's a head scratcher for a pitching coach. There's nobody on at second base. Tucker Barnhart was just hanging down one sign. I thought I saw a slider, but Matthews apparently saw a fastball and airmailed it all the way to the backstop.
See Ricky's numbers last year with Seattle. Only 37 games with the Mariners last year. He was released in June. That ended his season. A leadoff walk. That's the 4th time this spring that Ricky Weeks, trying to win a job, has taken a base on ball, so he's been patient up there as well. First walk for Matthews. Here's Chris Owings. CO an RBI double. He scored in the second. And flat out his last time up, 1 for 2. We'll talk about some of these spring training battles for jobs on the Diamondbacks side as the CBO will join us. The chief baseball officer, Tony La Russa, will be in our booth coming up a little bit later. And once again, Barnhart and Matthews trying to get together. So Tony will be with us in an inning or two. Even he might be relaxed with a 9-2 lead.
I don't know.
Maybe. I've sat with Tony while he scores one of these games, and he has his own score system on that card that he's writing down, and everything with him is situational. When the guy came up with a runner on base, was he ready to hit early in the count? Did he move the runner along? Everything is a situational score for Tony. All right to Phillips, and they can't double off Weeks. The throw gets away from Pacheco, and Ricky Weeks will stay put at first. You almost hit me. Gene Segura doubled and scored in the first. An RBI single he scored in the second. Struck out his last time up. 13 for 23 this spring. Are you a believer in change of scenery?
Yeah, I think for some guys it's hugely advantageous to get out of a situation where you've had bad memories and bad experiences, and every day you pull into that parking lot and walk through the door, you think, oh man, here we go again.
Well, that certainly describes the last 2 years in Milwaukee for Gene Segura. And guess what? It's a base hit. Ricky Weeks Jr. stops at second. Segura tonight 3 for 4. All he's done is hit.
and looked good doing it. I mean, it's hard to look bad when you're getting as many hits as Gene Segura is, but as I mentioned earlier in the ball game, he's hitting mistake pitches up in the zone. He's hitting pitchers' pitches on the corner and down. He's seeing the ball as big as a beach ball right now.
Socrates Brito, 2 for 3. He has scored twice. And very much in the battle for the left field job with Yasmani Tomas. The light went on for Socrates Brito last summer. That's when he got to go to All-Star Weekend and represent the D-backs, playing for the World Team in the Futures game. And he said as soon as he went there, he came back a different guy, more motivated. He wanted it more because he got a glimpse. And what a second half he had in the minor leagues last year. After the All-Star break at AA Mobile playing for Robbie Hammock, he hit nearly .350 in his final 48 games. Was D-backs minor league player of the year. And is now trying to win the left field job at the age of 23. Waves at that one. And they retire Brito for the second out in the 5th. Here's Goldie. Well, stop me if you've heard this before, but Goldie is 3 for 3. Three singles, 2 RBIs. He scored twice. Weeks at second. Segura is the runner at first. Bounced over the mound. Peraza will step on the bag for the force on Segura. We are through 5 in Scottsdale. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 9-2. Training home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They lead the Reds 9-2, and the D-backs chief baseball officer, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa, is with us. We're a little concerned Gene Segura made it out.
What's he hitting? 800?
I mean, your take on all these position battles. Every guy out there fighting for a job seems to get hit every time they come up.
You know, that's one of the advantages of having a true competition. Sometimes you try to invent it just to get a little excitement, but these guys are very talented, and we got some good depth, and they're really trying hard to be one of the 25. And here's where you're in the innings, the at-bats, and it's just all over the field. Right now, we got a petition for a 27, 28-man roster.
What'd you see from Patrick Corbin tonight?
Live arm, came out with a few times, got the ball up, but he made a lot of good pitches. Used his changeup, breaking ball, finished strong. He walked the leadoff guy a couple of times with a big lead. I'm sure, so it's got to be something to work on.
New pitcher for the Diamondbacks, the right-hander Evan Marshall. And Adam Duvall, the left fielder, leads off the Reds' sixth. Evan Marshall looks like he's the Evan Marshall from 2 years ago.
Well, he's been one of the real highlights of our camp, and one of the things that you get from getting new looks like Mike Butcher with our pitchers and Dave Magadan with our hitters is that they're seeing these guys for the first time. So, Butcher is seeing Evan Marshall and say, hey, this guy's really got 3 pitches that are out pitches. Has been very impressive. We're all very happy about it, obviously, but what a lift he could give our bullpen if he makes the club and continues to pitch this way.
Such a key part of that bullpen 2 years ago.
Well, that's when I showed up and I said, who is this guy? Because everything's dropping down out of the strike zone. And last year, he struggled a little bit, didn't have a good spring, and obviously got hurt. But this has really been a plus for us, and we like his chances going forward.
Evan has lost 20 pounds after he was injured. He's worked hard to keep that weight off, and says he is fully aware of how lucky he is just to be here.
It's a shame it takes that, and it wouldn't in his case. I think he just getting sent to AAA. I went down there and went on a couple of trips to see the AAA team, and Phil Nevin, Mike Parrott, they were talking. He's been a pro down there. He was working. He just, you just don't turn it off and get it turned on right away. But he was going to be back one way or another, but we're glad he's back now.
I remember when Evan Marshall first came up to the major leagues, he said he hadn't thrown that many changeups in a full season before, but he got to the major league level and there were situations that called for a straight changeup, and I think he had to really refine that pitch under fire.
Which is very impressive. Yeah. This is not the place to learn it. Usually the younger hitters and pitchers, they don't want to experiment at the big leagues because they're just going to go with what they have. But
Jordan Pacheco up the middle. Now, I'd like to tell you who's coming up next, Tony, but I think this is a first, Bob. He doesn't have a number.
Yeah. It's like me in spring training.
There he is. So somebody's on deck.
Actually, the way I played, I was kind of happy he didn't give me that.
I believe it's Jake Cave.
Oh, Jake Cave. All right. I'll take your word for it.
Let's go, see. But this has been, the offense has been swinging this way the great majority of games this spring. It's really exciting to think to get tough outs up and down that lineup.
This is Jake Cave, a Rule 5 guy that the Reds plucked off the roster of the Yankees. Tony, there was the off day yesterday. Is this the point in camp where these battles really start to get serious? Not that they haven't been serious before, but now you're kind of getting down to it.
So you start to trim, and there's more opportunity. I think the other thing that you always evaluate is guys, especially the starting pitchers, are getting into their third turn, and they're getting sharper. So the at bats from here to the end of the spring start to be more meaningful. If you can get a hit against a guy who's starting to get himself in shape, you do run into some early at bats where the pitchers, many of the good guys there for 2 innings and gone. So it gets tougher and tougher to. You would think it'd be tough tonight. I know that the Reds had to make a change in their pitching, so it'll be interesting to watch our guys continue to cope with this.
Now, I heard you with Doug and Wolf on the radio this morning. Some things just needed to be addressed, so we might as well do that here. The trade rumors about Nick Ahmed. What's the team's position on that?
From my experience, and I bet you Bob's got a similar one, I think writers get bored. and they create stuff, and they'll call their compadre someplace else in Florida or whatever. And hey, if I was a general manager, or you a general, what would we try to do? Hey, well, I think the Cardinals need a shortstop, and they got 3 of them there with Arizona. But I can guarantee, because I'm with Stu all day long, we have not had one serious conversation about Nick. And as I mentioned this morning, a lot of scouts have complimented on the depth of our roster. So we have been getting, or he's been getting, quite a few inquiries. Hey, I know you have some extra here. What do you want to talk about? And so he says, right now we're not talking.
Bounce to second. Owings, Ahmed, that quick release, but not quick enough to get Jake Cave.
There's no quicker that I've ever seen.
Referring to the piece by Ken Rosenthal over the weekend that quoted one Diamondback official as saying that Nick might be a possible trade candidate. The Cardinals were the market for a shortstop with the injury to Johnny Peralta.
Well, I don't know. I want to waste a phone call to Ken because I have a lot of respect for him. I don't want to put him on the spot. But I don't. In fact, we scratched our head, didn't know where it would come from because it had no validity. And we certainly have not looked at our situation except to think that this depth is really good for us.
Well, it's certainly bringing the best out of everyone. I mean, here's Nick. He's hitting .440 this spring. He's got 8 RBIs in 10 games, and he's played his usual brilliant defense.
I mean, you look at. I know tomorrow. I can imagine. Lamb's. So I can imagine tomorrow night or tomorrow late afternoon we play the Cubs. You'll see Drury out there, and he's looking outstanding. And Nick will start the game as short. I'm not sure who'll play second. Maybe Gossman. I mean, it's been fun to watch, and these guys are all responding. Nobody is sulking because you're not being given anything. They're out to earn it.
Now, it's been interesting to watch Tony Socrates Brito, who's got an opportunity here. As Monty Tomas has missed a week or so, hopefully back tomorrow. But Socrates, at the age of 23, has had the opportunity, and he has run with it. What have you seen from him?
Really excited. We were really impressed with the progress from even the spring to when he came up last year. There was no big league scare there. He was very comfortable. And we have a nice network of scouts are out there talking, and his name's being talked about. But right now we're just looking at I know Chip and his coaches, a really good coaching staff along with a really good manager, and all this playing time means that you just at this point you give as much attention to everybody, and now is not the time to start writing somebody off, especially somebody who's playing as well as Socrates is. And you need more than 3 guys, so he's got a legitimate shot. But I think that the big thing is if you're a young player, if you take him, you got to believe you got at bats for him. You can't take him as an extra outfielder who may pinch it once in a while.
So if you don't think he can get 3, 4, or 5 at bats every day, then this isn't the place for him, at least right now.
No, I think that's if he can't get if he can get 3 games a week. I mean, first of all, if he helps our club, that's the #1 consideration. If he's ready to play, then he's shown that he's got versatility, 3 positions, come off the bench and everything else. So I think it's just, how do you define gets enough at bats? I remember, not to drop any names, but they get it with Albert Pujols in 2001, and he had a great spring, and that was the question: can you guarantee him enough at bats? I think so. We got in the season, you can play him at third, left, and first, and the rest is history. So I think with the fact that he can be so versatile in the outfield, and he can run, and he's hitting left-handed, we're a pretty right-handed club.
Can you hang around for 3 more outs?
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with Tony La Russa, the Hall of Famer, right after this. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 9-2. Offense, and a very good outing for Patrick Corbin, who struck out 6 and walked only 2. Steve Berthune. Bob Brenly joined in our booth here by the Chief Baseball Officer, Tony La Russa, overseeing a whole lot of position battles here this spring. Another one, Tony, is at third base. We haven't talked about that yet. Jake Lamb, after a slow start, has really picked it up. Brandon Drury, as he did last spring, is hitting just about everything. So you've got a battle there at third as well, don't you?
Well, it's a fun kind of thing. You know, we had a meeting today, and just to try to summarize the first few weeks, and we all decided that the smart thing is you've got another 10-12 days of just giving everybody playing time. Don't lean or even decide for certain until more at bats. But I think the thing that's really healthy for us is that we have so many decisions to make, and guys there's nobody played themselves out of contention. In fact, they're all solidified themselves. And you just mentioned a great example. Brandon Drury's just been outstanding, and also look at his versatility. He can play around if we need him in second, but we don't need him there. And somebody mentioned about playing him in the outfield just to give him some at bats.
I mean, Brandon was the best hitter on the team last spring, and he's been one of the best again this spring. Look at these numbers.
His stroke is, I've been listening to Gracie and Mags, and the way they teach that first path of the bat, he's as good an example of that. And you see the underspin he gets. The ball just jumps off his bat. I think last year, didn't he have 40-some doubles or something?
Yeah, in the minors.
A double machine. So, he's really a bright talent who not just plays defense, but looks like he's going to have a very productive bat.
Do you remember the first time you went to Mobile and saw David Peralta? What was that like?
It was my first trip in there, and I remember that we had an issue at the big league level, and Kevin, I got on the phone with Kevin, and he said, hey, take a good look at this guy Peralta, because we need to bring somebody up, and we were looking at AAA candidates. Got rained out the first day. They played a doubleheader, and I watched him just like now. He stands at the bat square. He hits the ball. He's doing everything that you want. I'll tell you PS to that. So I said, I don't know about the rest of this guy, but this guy he's left-handed, and he looks like he really is going to hit all the time. So he came up, and he was swinging good, and I started to ask him, where did he learn to hit? Because I knew he was a converted pitcher. And then I said, wait a minute. I don't want him thinking about this. So the last day of the season, I said, who taught you to hit? Because it's perfect. And he gave his dad a lot of credit, who I understand is going to be visiting this weekend.
Yeah, the whole family's coming in for a while.
I know one thing. It's a pleasure to watch somebody that as intense as he is every minute that he's on the field.
Wellington Castillo.
Nice pitch, Tony.
At what point do you stop saying, well, it's only spring training? When you look at some of these batting averages, and they're in the 400s and the 600s with Segura, is there a point where you sort of go, all right, this might be something here?
Well, I think if I'm a fan, I'm already thinking that there's the thing that's really exciting about this is if we can put a lineup together where you have 8 tough outs, and today Patrick got a double. If you can have 8 tough outs, you have a chance to have an offense that can win games, all types of games, and that's what we're kind of seeing. I think the next test, as I mentioned, is as you get these pitchers into their third time out and they're going 4 or 5 innings, they're going to get sharper and sharper, and then you watch what do they look like against guys that look more like big league pitching, because we've taken advantage of some guys that are throwing the ball in the middle of the plate.
I think that might have happened tonight, but now you've got Tony Cingrani in there, who's struck out Peralta and Castillo to open up the 6th. And here's Jake Lamb. What do you think of Jake's new batting stance?
I like a lot of what he's doing. It's kind of forceful with that front foot, and sometimes you worry that his head might be jumping, but he's getting great results. I like that he's not kind of falling back and pulling off that pitch inside. He did a little bit of one swing today, but mostly he's been more direct to the ball, and he's really good out over the plate.
Yeah, taking a lot of balls to the opposite field, especially recently.
Come on, Tony, boy.
I think sometimes you see talent and you forget how important at this level at bats and experience, because these guys are making adjustments, and he's very talented, and the more at bats he gets, the more he'll handle everything. we were talking about, we've got a nice competition going behind Castillo. And Chris Herman has done a good job, and Guswich is Jeffy's definitely healthy.
Is there a chance Chip might carry 3 catchers?
Like the way you asked that, Steve, the answer is yes.
There's a chance for everything at this point, I guess.
Right. But one of the things about Chris is he's a good athlete, and as you see him at first base, he can also play the outfield, and he hits on the left-hand side. So we've all discussed, whether it's the front office or the coaches, just don't decide till you have to decide, and certainly not until you get into the 20s of this month.
It's not always an easy thing to do, but in this game, you don't make a decision until you have to.
Right.
I mean, you may have an idea in the back of your mind, but the newspaper writers and the broadcasters, we all want to know what's the roster going to look like, how many catchers, how many pitchers, is this guy going to make the team, is that guy going to make the team, and sometimes those decisions are made for you by the end of spring training.
I remember Sparky used to tell me, he said, don't fall in or out of love early in spring training. But you may have a guy who comes from the north and didn't get as much, and has some guy play winter ball who's got great timing, but just let the guys have enough at bats where you can be fair to both of them, and don't fall in or out of love early, and we're trying not to, although that's hard not to.
With what you've seen.
Yeah, Sparky used to fall in love in spring training. I remember if you don't like Bobby Higginson, you don't like baseball. You always had a guy every camp that if you didn't like him, you don't like baseball.
Remember Chris Patero?
Oh, sure.
Sparky was the best, though. I mean, he was so positive, but his players, they rose to his expectations because he really pumped them up. How do you like our pitching so far?
I like it a lot.
A little deeper.
Oh, yeah. And those 2 guys at the top of the rotation didn't hurt anything.
That's exciting.
Pretty good reliever, and Tyler Clippard down there, a guy that's had experience at the tail end of ball games.
Bourgeois hits one to right center, and Holt does a nice job to run that down. The chief baseball officer, Hall of Famer Tony La Russa. Tony, thanks as always.
Okay, anytime.
Appreciate it. Bob Brenly and Jody Jackson back with you. Wholesale changes, our favorite kind for the Diamondbacks as we start the 7th. New pitcher is the veteran right-hander. It's school is in session, BB. It's Professor Josh Coleman.
Professor Coleman stepping up to the lectern. He's going to try to school these Cincinnati Reds here tonight.
I see what you did there. Changes all around him defensively. We'll get to those over the course of the ball game. Our thanks again to Tony La Russa. So Tucker Barnhart, the switch hitting catcher, will bat from the left-hand side against Coleman to lead off the Reds 7th. 9-2 Diamondbacks. They have out-hit Cincinnati 14-5. Dave Magadan, the hitting coach. Jake Lamb, the hitting pupil. Talking about those hands, that hand position down low. Got a chance to have a couple of discussions with Dave Magadan. What an impressive guy. Brandon Drury on the short hop, the new third baseman. One down. In there for Jake Lamb. Nick Ahmed is the shortstop. Chris Owens still at second base. Joaquin Arias has taken over at first for Goldie. Tuffy Gozawish, the new catcher, and the outfield left to right, Peter O'Brien, Evan Marzilli, and Gabriel Guerrero.
Hey, the Cubs come to town for the D-backs opening weekend, April 7th through the 10th. On Saturday, April 9th, fans can pick up a D-backs cereal bowl, courtesy of Arizona Milk Producers. See the full list of this season's giveaways at dbacks.com. Got to get that cereal bowl right away.
Juan Duran. Had a nice, beautiful shot all set up, and somebody just needed to stand up and stretch in the middle of it. The whole cinematography. There, yeah, she's still standing. It's all in front. It's all about the cinematography. Just stretch out a little bit. Now she sits. Juan Duran Duran. I could use the D-backs cereal bowl, actually, for the Count Chocula in the morning.
Ooh.
It's all part of the program.
Now for a night game, do you have your Count Chocula at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, the clock is all messed up.
It's really messed up.
Wait, Jody, what does Jake Lamb eat for breakfast?
Oh, good question. We're talking about cereal for some reason here. What do you eat for breakfast? The guys want to know.
What kind of cereal? Or what do I
What do you eat for breakfast in general?
Omelet, some fruit, little smoothie. We have really good people in the kitchen, so they do a great job.
So, it's a little more high level than just the bowl of cereal.
Well, I can go bowl of cereal, too. I do some Cocoa Puffs and some Fruity
Nice.
Pebbles.
There you go.
Yeah, in camp, you don't want to be seen eating that stuff.
It's got to be the smoothie, the omelet. All right, so tonight a hit, run driven in, a walk right there. You go over and talk to your hitting coach, Dave Magadan. What's the feeling after tonight?
Feel good. I mean, you saw the game. The bats were alive tonight. We got 14 hits. It was, we were talking earlier. It's just fun being on this team, and it's fun, the at bats and the type of games we're playing right now. It's a lot of high energy and good offense, good defense, and good pitching.
Yeah, like you mentioned, just this team continues to pile up runs. So what type of things do you go over right there in the dugout? Right, that's the best time, I'm sure, for Dave Magadan to talk to you right about those at-bats, right? What were you guys going over right there?
Yeah, just, I made some adjustments in the offseason that I've talked about before. And with my hands are moving a little too much as the pitchers come and set, and I don't want to be doing that. And so he was just kind of warning me, hey, they're moving a little too much. Make sure you minimize that, especially when the guy's in the stretch. So those are just things that sometimes, throughout the course of a game or a week or something, I might not feel, but, they can obviously, it's something easy to pick up from the dugout. And we got some pretty good guys in here to pick that up.
It's the time right now here in spring for those things to become habit, I imagine, right?
Yeah, and that's nice that, especially right away, he saw it and, took me aside like you saw.
I loved what you said earlier. We were talking. You said it's a lot of fun to be getting these big leads on teams and being able to really show off the type of offense that you have. And, one thing you mentioned was situational hitting. How is that different this year?
Well, it's still the same. We still you still want to execute every time you got a situation. Infield back. I had a situation tonight. They were giving me a free RBI, no outs. Infield back, guy on third. And it didn't come through, ended up striking out. And so just little things like that. Even though, we got a big lead, you want to focus, you kind of forget about the big lead in that situation. You just want to get the guy in, whether it's, a ground ball up the middle, a rollover. Infield's back, so they're pretty much giving you the run. So just little things like that. You just want to lock in and, turn up that focus a little bit.
How is this great competition in the infield? change the dynamic of this particular camp? Of course, you're trying to win the third base job last year in camp, and so it's similar this year with so many infield positions and so many guys really having success right now in the spring. So what's that dynamic like right now?
It's honestly a great feeling. I mean, no matter who we're putting out there, everyone's doing really well. These are the backups right now, and you got Nick Ahmed and Brandon Drury on the left side of the infield. I mean, that's quite the infield right there. That's quite a left side of the infield. It's really fun, especially working with guys like that, Drury, CO, Gene, Ahmed defensively. Makes me a lot better at third, and we're kind of just making everyone better. So it's really fun. It's obviously competitive, but we don't look at it that way. We're just trying to get better, individually, and then we're helping each other out too.
Working with Matt Williams again at third base and continuing to get better in that area. How much do you focus on Matt right now during spring training?
As far as third base? Yeah, I mean, Matty helped me out right when he got here. He talked about playing a lot deeper, and it makes it so much easier. The play can develop a lot more in front of you. You're allowed to make that, initial read and maybe a second read on the ball. So it's still getting used to, the players and the swings that they're taking. But as far as Matty helping me out, he's got me playing deeper at third, and I'm liking it a lot so far.
All right, so as we wrap this up, we started with breakfast. So you had an off day yesterday, today a night game, tomorrow 4 o'clock, back to day game on Friday. How does that do with the schedule? Like, do you have a late night snack tonight? How do you do?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to have. Me and the roommates we went to Snooze over on Scottsdale Road this morning. Got a breakfast burrito, so might have to do that again tomorrow.
Solid breakfast spot. All right, Jake, thanks for the time.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, up to you.
I like that. Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs.
Nice.
Of course,
right in our wheelhouse.
It's Lammer, Archie Bradley, Marzilli, and Caleb Fleck over at Archie's house. So it's like Animal House over there. They're eating well, apparently. So Jose Peraza, the RBI triple, made it 9-3. He's at third, Suarez at first, and this is Dixon, the second baseman.
Well, that's one thing that's really changed in the game, the way the guys take care of their bodies now, their nutrition. Take good care. They make sure they're eating right, eating the good things. We used to have glazed donuts before the game and pizza and hamburgers and hot dogs after the game, if you were lucky.
Now you don't dare be caught eating Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, no.
Cocoa Puffs. You'd be an outcast. Smoothies and egg white omelets.
Yeah, we used to say you have to eat a sinker to hit a sinker, even if we weren't facing a sinker ball pitcher. I didn't want to take any chances.
Better eat a donut just in case. This has got a chance to stay fair for Arias. Noonan, it's off the glove and in the dugout.
Well, not making any excuses for Joaquin Arias, a utility player, but I bet that's the glove that he's least familiar with. That first baseman's mitt.
Yep.
It doesn't play like a third base glove or a second base glove or an outfield glove. Pocket is completely different. Looked like that one hit him right in the palm of the glove and popped out.
2-2 on Dixon. Fly ball center field that backs up Marzilli. He's at the track, at the wall. It's still going, and it's gone. A 3-run homer. Brandon Dixon. And it's a 9-6 ball game. A single, a triple, a walk, and now a homer against Josh Colmenter in the 7th. That just kept on going.
Yeah, refused to come down. Looks like Marzilli had a beat on it a couple of different times. Big swing from Brandon Dixon. Hits it out to the deepest part of the ballpark. Marzilli right there thought he had it. Once again on the track, he thought he had a beat on it, and that ball ends up on the wrong side of the fence.
So it's a 4-run Cincinnati 7th, still only 1 out. Broken bat. Arias going to get another chance here, and he runs that one down. Kyle Waldrop retired. In there for Duvall. Brandon Allen, former Diamondback, will hit for Jordan Pacheco, also a former Diamondback. Brandon Allen last played in the big leagues 4 years ago with Oakland and Tampa Bay, still hanging in there at the age of 30. Spent all of last year with the Mets AAA team in Las Vegas, 273 and 16 home runs. Brandon Allen over parts of 3 seasons, 2009 through 2011. As a Diamondback, hit .213 with 8 homers. And he was dealt, you may recall, at the trade deadline in that 2011 season to Oakland, along with Jordan Norberto. That deal worked out pretty well. The Diamondbacks in return got Brad Ziegler. And since then, Allen has been with the A's, the Rays, the Rangers, the Padres, the Mets, and now the Reds. 2-2. Nick Serenity's warming up at the Diamondback bullpen. It did not go. Strikes him out on the 3-2 pitch, but the Reds get 4. We stretch into Scottsdale. Diamondbacks lead at 9-6. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 9-6. Fans, it's not too late to become a D-backs season ticket holder for 2016. You can get tickets for all 81 home games at Chase Field, or you can choose from a half series, even a weekend plan. Season ticket holders enjoy the lowest price per ticket and get access to exclusive events and experiences. Just check out dbacks.com for all the details, and we'll see you at the ballpark. Nick Ahmed leads off the D-backs 7th against the new Reds pitcher, the right-hander Blake Wood. And what a spring it's been for Nick. Just talking about that with Tony La Russa in the previous inning. Nick hitting .440 this spring. 2 doubles, 3 triples, and a home run. And he's got 8 RBIs in 10 games. Lakewood, the Reds' right-hander. Ahmed inserted into the game at shortstop and hitting in the 8th spot where the pitcher was. Pitcher spot is now first in the Diamondback order. There's the numbers on Nick this spring. And you heard Tony La Russa emphatically quote GM Dave Stewart, who said he is not moving any of his middle infielders. So the trade rumors are just that, rumors. And Nick is still a Diamondback. And he's going to hustle into second, and the Reds throw it all over the field. Matt Williams will stop him at third. Kyle Waldrop, the new left fielder, having some issues.
Nice swing by Nick Ahmed on a fastball up around the belt. This is our Chaz Roberts cool play of the game. Just absolutely eats up the third baseman. Waldrop gets to it in good shape, but his throw back to the infield goes to nobody.
Yikes. So that's E7. Puts Ahmed at third to lead off the inning. Chris Owings now. CO and RBI double. He scored a run in the second. He's 1 for 3. That's now 15 hits for the Diamondbacks, leading the major leagues in hits and runs this spring. D-backs, if they hang on, will have won 8 straight Cactus League games.
We heard Jake Lamb talking to Jody Jackson last inning about situational hitting and thinking along those lines, and certainly an opportunity here for Chris Owings with the infield drawn in. Make sure you get a pitch you can lift in the air to the outfield, or at least drive it through that drawn in infield.
2-2. Joe Hudson, the new catcher back there. Swing and a miss on the 3-2 pitch, struck him out. Joaquin Arias took over at first base for Goldie. Infield still in for the Reds with Ahmed at third. That is a foul ball.
You know, Joaquin Arias would like to do something right here and pick up that runner from third base to a Tony. Remember, he dropped that pop foul right near the railing of the first base dugout before the 3-run homer to center field.
Arias 6 hits and 16 at bats this spring, all singles. Bounced over the mound. Dixon, the second baseman, comes home. Ahmed beats the throw, and it's 10-6.
It's one situation where the contact play worked to the Diamondbacks' advantage. So many times you end up running into an easy out at home plate on that contact play, but because Nick Ahmed had the great jump at third base on contact, it looked like it was going to be an easy out at home, but the second baseman rushes his throw in the dirt to Hudson at home plate, and Nick's able to slide in safely.
Well, here's Peter O'Brien, who the other day at Glendale against the White Sox hit about 900 feet worth of home runs. I mean, these were majestic. First home run for Pete off of John Danks went out to right center field. That was his second of the spring. And then as his next at bat, he hit one over the grass berm in left center into the trees at Glendale. And he is leading the team with 11 RBIs this spring, but he hits an easy double play ball, and that ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks get one back. Through 7, they lead it 10-6.
Friday, the Diamondbacks take on the Dodgers for a rival showdown at Salt River Fields. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Arizona.
That will be Zach Godley against Brandon Beachy. We'll have that game for you Friday afternoon right here. New pitcher for the Diamondbacks as we start the 8th inning. It's the veteran left-hander Wesley Wright trying to win a bullpen job here. And he's had a good spring so far. Veteran of 8 major league seasons, 31 years old. Most of that big league service time coming with the Houston Astros. Signed a minor league deal with the Diamondbacks just before Christmas. And in 4 appearances this spring has a 2.25 ERA.
Only giving up 3 base hits, has yet to walk a batter. That's always a good thing.
Ray Chang will lead it off for the Reds. Tough season for Wesley Wright last year. Signed a free agent deal with the Baltimore Orioles to open up the season. Made just 2 regular season appearances with the Orioles last April. Went on the 15-day DL. It was a left trapezius strain. Wound up on the 60-day DL. Didn't get back until the middle of July. And then when he did, the Orioles released him. Signed a minor league deal with the Angels. Pitched a dozen games at AAA Salt Lake, 9 appearances for Anaheim, and became a free agent. Now he's here with the Diamondbacks. And Chip Hale has told us ideally you'd have 2 left-handers back there. one being Andrew Chafin. That's in that competition for the final bullpen spot or so. They will take the best pitcher, right or left-handed. But I gotta think, Bob, that being a lefty might give you a little advantage. Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, a little advantage. Yeah.
That one's belted into the left field corner. O'Brien will play it off the wall. And Shang has a leadoff double.
Yeah, occasionally the makeup of the rest of the bullpen will determine that last spot in the pen. You may get down to a point where you have the luxury, okay, we can take a left-handed specialist. Or you might need a guy that can give you some length, a guy that can pitch 2, 3, 4 innings in an outing, take a day off, and come back and do it again. Maybe looking for a guy that's a dead sinker ball pitcher to get you that double play when you're in a jam in the middle part of the ball game. A lot of different factors go into who makes the staff, not necessarily always who pitches the best.
Amaral, the center fielder. His numbers at Double-A Pensacola last year in the Southern League. Diamondbacks will be at Mesa tomorrow at Sloan Park to take on the Cubs. That's a 4:05 start local time. Archie Bradley and Jason Hamill. And then Friday, the TV game here at 1:10, Godley and Beachy. And a split squad game Saturday. Half the Diamondbacks go to Peoria to play the Mariners at night. The other half will be here against the Rangers in the afternoon. Zach Greinke will start that game here Saturday at 1:10 against Texas.
Sad day tomorrow, partner.
Uh-oh, what's wrong?
Well, I told you last week about the batting cage. And
took down Michael's batting cage in the backyard after all these years.
Well, I tried to take it down. It didn't exactly cooperate, but
it never does.
And grounded hard to first. Nice play by Arias.
So you took another shot at it today?
No, I did the smart thing. I called
the guy, right?
Who does that? Yeah, I called the guy. So tomorrow morning, the guy is going to be there and take apart the rest of the cage that I couldn't take apart and break up the concrete and haul it away.
Now, do you remember at what age you put that up there and started throwing to Michael or had him hitting back there when he was a kid?
When we moved here in 1997, I've told this story in the past, we had a batting cage in the backyard before we had a kitchen table. We were eating on TV trays every night, but we had a batting cage in the backyard, fully functioning.
How was Joan with that?
Well, she's getting her payback tomorrow morning.
Uh-oh.
What?
But, yeah, I mean, a lot of hours spent in that cage. It was the best. That's why we bought where we did. We wanted to buy a house where we could put a cage in the backyard.
These are the things you look for.
Absolutely.
What do you need?
And I personally think it would be a selling point if you had a family with a young ball player, if you had the batting cage in the backyard, but I can't seem to convince Joan of that.
That thing's coming down.
Coming down.
Well, with all these grandkids you're having, you think you might want to leave it up?
Well, so far they've been all girls, which is fine. I can pitch softball to them, you know.
I mean, you've gone into the grandpa business full time.
Full time. I love it. Love it.
You'll be able to field an entire team pretty soon. 2-0 on Hudson.
Well, little girls like to fish too, you know. Get them started early.
Michael getting ready for another season as the Red Sox bullpen catcher.
Yep, down in Fort Myers, Florida. Having a good spring so far. He's learning the joys of throwing batting practice on a daily basis.
That was the elbow.
Oh. It gets you in different places at different times. Anybody that's thrown a lot of batting practice will tell you it's not always just your arm. You know, occasionally you get a sore elbow or a tender shoulder or whatever, but more often than not, it's your back or your legs or your knee, the way you fall off the mound after releasing a pitch, trying to hide behind that L screen. You know, you get one of your teammates that needs a little extra hitting. Hey, can you throw to me a little bit early tomorrow? Yeah, sure, I'll be here early. And then you end up in the cage for 45 minutes. Arm's about to fall off your body, your back hurts, your legs hurt, and then you have to throw your regular BP to the guys in the lineup later that day. But it's all part of the gig.
3-2 now. Called strike 3. Wesley Wright rings him up. 2 down. Well, the Diamondbacks have a plethora of guys who throw BP. Chip Hale will throw batting practice. Glenn Sherlock. But Mark Reed, who's back there sitting up against the wall. There's Reeder kind of in the middle of your screen there. He is the Diamondback bullpen catcher. And he will throw batting practice. He will work with anybody who needs it. It really is kind of a heart and soul of the team kind of a gig, isn't it? You do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and a lot of times for very little appreciation. But, you know, a Reeder, like most of these guys at this level that throw batting practice, they take it very seriously. Their job is to prepare these guys for the game. The idea of throwing batting practice is really to hit the bat as often as you can. You know, lay them in there wherever the guy likes the ball, unless he's working on something specifically. But if it's just a regular round of batting practice, you think, where's this guy's hot spot? Where does he really hit the ball well? And I'm going to try to throw every pitch right there because I want him to have maximum confidence when he takes the field tonight.
And Reeder is as big a part of this team as anybody. It's not just about warming up pitchers, is it?
No. I mean, he knows before anybody else, even before the starting catcher, whether that pitcher has his good stuff tonight. What's he been doing on his side sessions? Is he getting underneath his slider a little bit? Is that the tilt on his sinker isn't quite what it used to be? What's he doing wrong? Well, Reeder has seen these pitchers more than anybody else. So a lot of times he's the first go-to guy for a pitching coach.
On Duran, yes, he went, says Ted Barrett. Mark, of course, the brother of former major leaguer Jeremy Reed. And Reeder is also sort of the golf commandant. He will organize a lot of the golf trips on the road. He's a really good golfer himself. Wesley Wright bounces back, gets a couple of strikeouts, and strands that runner at third. Bottom 8 coming up. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 10-6. They lead at 10-6, and our Gig Life high-speed highlights presented by Cox. A whole lot of offense.
Whole lot of offense up and down the lineup tonight, spraying the ball all over the field. Some guys that have been hot stayed hot. Some guys that weren't hot got hot.
And They are rolling right now, leading the major leagues, both Cactus and Grapefruit, in hits and runs, Chip Hale Ball Club. And if they can hang on and win this one, the Diamondbacks will improve to 12-3-1 in Cactus League play this year, going tonight for their 8th straight win. New pitcher for the Reds. It's the right-hander Drew Hayes. A good year last year in the minor leagues at 2.69 ERA in 47 appearances.
Guy was originally drafted by the Diamondbacks in the 29th round back in the 06 draft, but didn't sign. Was selected by the Mariners in the 22nd round in 09, did not sign. Eventually the Reds took him in the 11th round of the 2010 draft, and here he is.
And here is our first look at the plate tonight for Brandon Drury. .423 this spring with 5 doubles and 2 home runs. He's got 8 RBIs in 10 games. Trying to find a spot for the bat, and he drops this one fair into the right field corner. Brandon Drury's at it again. His 6th double this spring. All he's done is hit.
Boy, when it's going good, it's going good. He gets jammed by this pitch a little bit. Even when he mishits the ball, he gets a good result. A little slicing liner down that right field line. Gets away from Durant all the way into the corner, and Drury on second with a leadoff double.
The latest edition of Diamondbacks podcast, D-Backs podcast, is available right now at dbacks.com and on iTunes. Our guest this week, the great Joe Carter, who was a special assistant to GM Dave Stewart here. And I asked Joe, who's impressed you this spring? And the first name he said was Gabriel Guerrero. And here he is. The spitting image of his uncle Vlad. 5 hits this spring, including a double and a home run. Could have done a 2-hour show with Joe Carter. Talked to him for about a half hour, and it was infinitely entertaining.
But just hearing about that home run he hit for the Blue Jays against the Wild thing in the World Series that year, what a moment. I can't imagine what that must have felt like.
Game 6 on a 2-2 pitch from Mitch Williams. He talked about that at bat. He actually got fooled.
Really?
He said he was looking, because on the previous pitch, Mitch Williams had thrown a breaking ball, terrible pitch, down in the left-hand batter's box in the dirt. And Joe put a terrible swing on it, tried to check but couldn't. And that was the second strike. It made it a 2-2 count. And he said, well, he got me on that one. It's still 2-2. He's going to come back with another breaking ball because he just made me look silly. So he was looking breaking ball. Got a fastball in and crushed it.
Ugh.
He said he just reacted. And the great Tom Cheeks was right. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life, Joe Carter.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
But he said it was not his best home run. It was not the most important home run he hit in the major leagues.
Really?
He said, yeah, you're kidding me, really?
Really?
He said, no, it was a home run. He hit a grand slam his first year with Cleveland, his second year in the big leagues, which I think was 84. As Guerrero strikes out. He said he hit a grand slam. I want to say it was off Mike Boddicker. You can listen to the podcast to be sure. He's up there. I believe it was against Mike Boddicker, somebody like that. And he hit a grand slam, and he said, that's when I knew that I could play at this level. And he went on to hit over 400 home runs in the big leagues. Tuffy Gozawish. But anyway, that's available right now at dbacks.com and on iTunes. Tuffy lines it right to Dixon, and they double up Drury to win the 8th. A big hang with him for Gozawish ends the 8th. Diamondbacks lead at 10-6. We go to the 9th. 10-6. Hey fans, MLB.tv Premium. Everything you've come to expect and more. It's available right now. New low price for 2016. You can watch every out-of-market game live. All 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Just check out MLB.tv for all the details. Ninth inning. New pitch here for the Diamondbacks. The right-hander out of Desert Ridge High School in Mesa. And the ASU Sun Devil, it's Jake Barrett. Totaled 15 saves last year between AA Mobile and AAA Reno. 51 strikeouts in 53 innings. Zach Vinci leads it off. Jake, now 24 years old, hoping to break into the big leagues this year after 4 years in the minor leagues. With 4 appearances this spring, a 2.25 ERA. And he spent a good portion of last year closing games for Phil Nevin in Reno. 11 saves and 22 appearances with the Aces. He worked primarily as a setup man for Robbie Hammock while he was at AA Mobile. One and two. And he got him. Strikeout for Jake Barrett. He's got that plus fastball, plus slider, and a pretty effective changeup. And he certainly has a closer's mentality out there. He will come at you.
Good slider there to finish that sequence. Hard, sharp, late breaking slider.
Seth Mejias Breen, numbers with AA Pensacola last year. Came into play third base for Eugenio Suarez. Jake Barrett's kind of at that point where he's ready to be a big leaguer. Diamondbacks got him with a 3rd-round pick out of ASU 4 years ago. 24 years old. He'll be 25 in July. He's a big dude out there, 6'3", 220. He has, in the past, had to work hard to lose a lot of weight. He wasn't too long ago. He was pitching at about 240. So he's cut back a bit. And he was another guy that told us, you know, it's not easy trying to eat well and be smart about your diet in the minor leagues. It's just, you don't get that opportunity. They're not making you smoothies and egg white omelets. You got to do what you can. But he's done a good job keeping that weight off.
I tell you, a lot of times in the minor leagues, of course, this is going back about 1 million years, but especially on the road, if you hustled out of the clubhouse quickly after the game was over, they would give you the hot dogs that were left over at the concession stand, and that was your post-game meal.
Guys fighting for hot dogs.
Yeah.
2 strikeouts in the inning for Jake Barrett. Bring him up and sit him down.
You've seen the good slider, but now we see a good 4-seam fastball here from Barrett. Just pounds away at the bottom of that strike zone.
So 2 down in the 9th. Here's Dixon, who hit a 3-run homer to center his last time up off Josh Clemente. Want to take this opportunity, BB, to wish a happy birthday to our director tonight, Mike Fox. He's the Rockies regular director, also does some Coyotes games. We kind of loaned him out from the Rockies, so we want to thank them and say happy birthday, Mike. And
yeah, absolutely.
Coming over and working the game tonight on your birthday, no less. Great to have you. That's big league when you step in on your birthday. You got a night off planned. Sure. Yeah, he's in the truck working the game. Here are the Rockies on the other side of this amazing facility. Jake Barrett a strike away from getting the side in order here. Fighting for a bullpen job. 0-2. Got him! Ring him up, Jake Barrett. And that's the ball game, Jake. 3 up, 3 down. And the Diamondbacks get the win. 10-6 the final. They are now 12-3-1 in Cactus League play. They have won 8 straight for Chip Hill.
Yeah, winning baseball is winning baseball. I don't care what time of year it is. And what an impressive performance by Jake Barrett, finishing this one off with 3 punch-outs.
The exclamation point. Everybody on this team trying to win a job. A team that has now won 12 of its 16 Cactus League games. They have won 8 in a row, leading the major leagues in runs and hits. And it was a great night offensively. Patrick Corbin looked terrific. He went 4+, struck out 6 in what is a 10-6 Diamondback win. For our birthday boy, director Mike Fox, the big dog, Brad Weimer, producing Jody Jackson, my partner Bob Brentley. I'm Steve Berthew. Thanks for watching Diamondback Baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. We'll see you Friday, 1 o'clock against the Dodgers.